You can probably guess, I'm here to tell you that parents do not like the impact PARCC tests are having on their public schools, and they are now organizing to push back. I'm sure you're all well aware that last month about 100 people attended the State Board of Ed meeting to protest high-stakes standardized tests. We know that hundreds of parents have attended Take the PARCC events, where they've witnessed the test's myriad flaws, from bulky technology to incomprehensible questions. I took the third grade math test and couldn't figure out how to divide a circle into sixths on the Chromebook. In addition, thousands of parents have viewed the film Standardized, which details the damage high-stakes tests are inflicting on public schools. And increasingly, we see that parents are refusing to subject their students to these tests. The Facebook page Opt Out of Standardized Tests New Jersey has doubled its followers in just 2 weeks. And despite some intimidating memos from their own professional groups, at least 45 school districts have announced they will accommodate rather than punish students who will refuse the tests. My own Facebook page, the Save Our Schools New Jersey Facebook page, picked up more than 1,000 followers last week, and our posts unbelievably reached in excess of 100,000 people. That's not to say that Save Our Schools New Jersey doesn't believe that tests play an important role, because we do believe a reasonable amount of testing will provide important diagnostic information to help teachers provide appropriate instruction and attention to individual students. But we don't believe high-stakes tests provide that information, and we certainly don't believe the new PARCC tests do that either. We're disturbed that New Jersey intends to use them to make decisions about whether students can graduate from schools, whether teachers will be fired, and whether schools will be closed. We also oppose what the overemphasis on high-stakes standardized testing like PARCC is doing to our public schools and our students. Preparation for PARCC is replacing real learning with weeks of instructional time lost to preparation drudgery. Just recently had a phone call from a parent who told me that the PARCC prep exercises are being used in grading, and she is very upset that that would ever count towards marking period grading, was very concerned about the amount of emphasis the school district was placing on it. My own district, and where I served on the Board of Education for a few terms, spent $1 million to upgrade infrastructure and for purchases of Chromebooks. And I came from a J district. If my district needed $1 million, I can't imagine what poorer districts have to spend. I talked to the board president last night, and she told me this was especially disconcerting because after the massive cuts that the district faced when this governor took over and the continued flat funding for the past 6 years, she was happy that the district was finally able to stabilize itself and was quite unprepared for an additional $1 million in unfunded mandates. We are also aware that curricula are being narrowed, and non-tested subjects like science, art, music, and foreign languages are being cut back to make more time for PARCC-tested subjects. In fact, Commissioner Hespy, you were at the January State Board meeting when I think the superintendent of Patterson Schools noted a drop in the end-of-the-year biology test scores was correlated to the amount of time his district was spending to prepare students for the English language arts and math PARCC exam. I'm not sure he meant it to come out the way it did, but that's in fact what he said. Teachers are aware that low test scores will cost them their jobs, and they feel pressured to teach to the test. So, after that litany of complaints, here's what Save Our Schools does support, and we ask that you consider these following changes. A decrease in the number of hours of high-stakes standardized testing. No high-stakes standardized testing for students below 3rd grade, and that includes preschoolers. The right to have children opt out of tests. Full disclosure by the testing companies of their political donations. And finally, a delay in any decision based on PARCC tests for 2 years until the results have thoroughly been studied by a panel of experts. And finally, I'd be remiss if I did not mention the formation of what appears to be a pro-PARCC coalition, and note that 7 of its 9 members are also members of this PARCC Study Commission. Save Our Schools New Jersey respectfully urges this study commission to keep an open mind and consider all points of view during deliberations, and particularly when developing your final recommendations. Thank you for your time.